Could this be a new contender for the cutest Minecraft mob? And has Mojang added a Skulk dimension? These are 19 of the most game-changing features in the Minecraft 1.19 update. The Deep Dark is a new biome that could be described as the mushroom biome of the underground. With no mob spawning in these caves, players might feel safe whenever roaming around them. But little do they know, all the noise they're creating might just lead to their demise, because there is one mob that can spawn within the Deep Dark, and it strikes fear into any player's heart. This mob exists within a hidden giant dungeon within the Deep Dark called the Ancient City. It's filled with chests of loot and over 50 possible structures. It's even got a hidden underground area that's filled with different redstone contraptions, such as intricate redstone circuits and even target block practice. Could this be some sort of Ancient City lab? Players haven't yet deciphered what the secret room means, and there are many more secrets to uncover. For example, what's up with these ice rooms? Are they purely designed to store snowballs to distract the warden with? Because within each ice room is a loot chest filled with snowballs. Another example of a weird structure are these destroyed tents. They're actually listed as camps in the game files, but that seems like such an odd structure to add to an underground city. I'm excited to see what Minecraft theorists decipher from this interesting structure. There are 6 new blocks and items you can find in the Ancient City. The block I'm most excited for is the Skulk sensor. The Skulk sensor is a new redstone block. It can be found scattered around the Deep Dark, and it has a game-changing mechanic. When the Skulk sensor hears a sound, it can activate redstone signals. This new block might just stimulate a new era in Minecraft redstone, which hasn't happened since 2016. This is because now you can create deadly invisible TNT traps, wireless redstone contraptions, and every machine that used to be controlled by a lever can now be activated through walls with the Skulk sensor. These are some other Skulk blocks also added. The Skulk catalyst is a special block used to generate other Skulk blocks. When a mob dies near a catalyst, it converts nearby blocks into Skulk. The stronger the mob killed, meaning it drops more XP, the more Skulk is generated. The normal Skulk blocks can actually store experience. For example, when a skeleton dies near a Skulk catalyst, any experience that skeleton would have left behind is sucked within the generated Skulk blocks. That means you can combine a mob farm with a Skulk catalyst to store experience within blocks. There's one Skulk block remaining, but let's bring that up alongside the entity. In the meantime, let's talk about the interesting addition of these recovery compasses. These compasses can only be found in ancient cities. Crafted using 8 echo shards and a compass, it points to your last death location. For the clumsy player like me, this is a game changer. I finally won't lose all my items to item despawning. But for those who only play hardcore, this new item is completely useless. Once you die, your world is deleted forever, and you obviously can't try find your death location. Mojang has also added a new enchantment called Swift Sneak. You won't be able to find this enchantment anywhere but the Ancient City, so don't waste your experience trying to use an enchanting table. If you've never been able to speed bridge like a Bed Wars player, this enchantment is for you. As the name would suggest, it improves a player's sneak speed. It's also the first enchantment that's used on leggings, similar to how feather falling can only be put on boots, and aqua affinity can only be used on helmets. You might be thinking, what an odd enchantment to add, but its addition was intentional, because hidden underground in the Deep Dark and the Ancient City is a brand new mob which now has been given the title of the most powerful mob in Minecraft, the Warden. An extremely brutal mob able to kill players in full netherite with ease. It climbs out of the ground when you make too much noise around the brand new Skulk Shrieker block. The Skulk Shrieker is the last Skulk type block that can be found in the Deep Dark and the Ancient City. Now, the reason that Swift Sneak is actually useful is because it enables us to travel around the Deep Dark and the Ancient City faster, while also not alerting the Warden of our presence. We want to get all that loot without spending centuries sneaking around these giant structures. The Warden is a unique mob in which it can only smell or hear you. And watch out, because if you try to escape it, an anime-style range attack will be coming your way. What I'm curious about is, why has Mojang created such a powerful mob to defend the ancient cities? Could it be protecting the brand new music discs being added in this update? It seems to contain valuable clues into uncovering the mystery of the Warden and the giant portal in the middle of the ancient city. Scattered around loot chests as shards, if you manage to collect 9 of them, you'll be able to combine them into a disc. There are many theories about the sequence of events that the music disc recording contains. The most common of which is it follows an explorer entering the portal in the middle of the ancient city, transporting themselves to the dimension of the Skulk. They accidentally run into a warden, leading it back through the portal, infecting the overworld with Skulk blocks and allowing wardens to roam free. Could Mojang be planning to add another dimension in the future? Maybe a dimension filled with Skulk and wardens, and the portal to that dimension could could be the giant structure in the middle of the ancient city. I have so many questions about this new direction that Mojang is taking. And if that wasn't enough content for you, there's even more. This update is way more jam-packed than I thought it would be. Alongside the addition of the Deep Dark, another biome is being added called the Mangrove Swamp. A gorgeous recreation of real life filled with new content, Mojang has bundled 6 new features to explore, one of which is a brand new mob that roams the swamps. The chest in a boat is what I consider a sleeper feature. Most people will take a look at it, shrug, and look at features like the warden or the ancient city, but I think you should give it a chance. If you find you're filling your inventory too quickly while out exploring, 9 times out of 10 you're probably near a body of water. Perfect to plonk down a boat with a chest, empty out your inventory, and continue adventuring. As Minecraft has evolved, the number of items has also increased, reducing the time it takes to fill our inventories with items and trinkets. Hopefully, this is a way to stem overfilled pockets in the early game. It also potentially has game-changing improvements for any technical players in building farms that output massive amounts of drops. Similar to how players use hopper minecarts, you can use a boat with a chest to combine multiple hoppers into a single stream. My favorite of the Mangrove Swamp features is the frog. It'll be able to spawn in any swamp, including the existing one. But frogs don't just appear from nowhere. If you listened during science class, you would know that frogs actually develop from tadpoles. Mojang has not missed out on this detail, and they've added little tadpoles that grow up into frogs. You may have also noticed a variety of different colored frogs, and all these variants are all unique depending on what environment a tadpole grew up in. If you're thinking about the logistics of moving tadpoles into a new biome, don't worry, because you'll be able to move tadpoles around using a bucket, which as a benefit gives you the bucket advancement. Moving the tadpole into a mild environment like a plains gets you an orangey frog. A cold environment like an ice spikes biome gets you a green frog. In a hot environment like the nether, your tadpole will become this paley white frog. And if you get all 3 frogs, remember to put them on a lead to get the when the squad hops into town advancement. Now, frogs aren't just a mob to fill Minecraft ambience. They actually attack mobs with a special move that no other mob has: their tongue. I mean, it makes sense, and they're specifically not very pleased with slimes and magma cubes. Originally, frogs were meant to eat fireflies, but fireflies don't exist in Minecraft yet. Well, Mojang has announced them in a trailer, but anything functional has yet to be seen by players. So instead, it made sense to make them eat slimes, another mob that spawns in swamps. Specifically, tiny slimes, because big slimes, they're a bit more of a challenge to digest. When frogs attack the magma cube, a close cousin of the slime, a froglight is left behind, which is a brand new block also in this update. It's a light source just like a glowstone block or a sea lantern, and comes in 3 different variations. If you're a collector, getting all 3 froglights will also get you the with our power combined advancement. I've realized there's a lot of advancements to get from frogs. In real life, frogs like mud, and what exists in a real life mangrove swamp? A lot of mud. So it made sense for Mojang to add it to Minecraft. It's a block that you sink in, but doesn't slow you down like soul sand does. You can either collect it as it naturally generates in a mangrove swamp. It replaces dirt and grass, so there's plenty for you to collect. If for some reason you can't find a mangrove swamp, you can also use a bottle of water on dirt to hydrate it into mud. I think these new blocks will look awesome in any build you might have in mind. Growing on all these mud blocks in the mangrove swamp, we find mangrove trees. With roots buried deep underground, this is a completely new direction of tree design. Is that a thing, tree design? Anyway, if you search mangrove saplings, don't expect to find anything in your inventory, because if you took the time to explore a mangrove swamp, you might find one of these curious looking plants, the mangrove propagule. This is a mangrove tree sapling, growing into a tree where the wood looks like this. It's an awesome addition to the wood family, and here is every single block that is uniquely mangrovey. The 2021 Minecraft Live announced a new mob vote with the Allay as one of the contenders. And with a narrow victory over the copper golem, it's earned its rightful place in Minecraft. But there's a lot more to it than just being a cute little ghost. It was actually inspired from the Wisp, a mob in Mojang's other game, Minecraft Dungeons, and was actually meant to be released as part of the Nether update, but wasn't fleshed out fast enough for its release. The Wisp's elevator pitch was a mob that could transport items between different areas. Mojang implemented this by letting players give an item to an Allay, giving them an example of what to look out for in the world. It will then search around for that same item, bringing it to the player or to a nearby note block that's being activated. Mojang just ripped the page out of the Wisp's book and created what we now know as the Allay. You'll also get the advancement, "You've got a friend in me," when an Allay delivers an item to you. Players also theorize that Vexes are actually corrupted versions of the Allay, which kinda makes sense. Mojang also added an Easter egg in which when an Allay delivers a cake to a note block, you'll get the birthday song advancement. And that's every game-changing feature in 1.19. If you enjoyed this video, YouTube thinks you might like this one.